This episode is brought to you by AirBnB.
Here we go.
Hey, Bashi.
Hey, Sufi.
Very exciting. We're going to get to what we believe, and neither of us have great steel trap memories.
Yours is better than mine, and
first
you don't
sibling
know.
guests.
Yeah,
On Family
sure.
Trips.
If you say so.
The Foster sisters. They're a wonderful hang.
Yeah,
Very excited to talk to the Foster sisters.
yeah.
I've got some exciting news for you as well. Couple things. One, Axel's about to get his hair buzzed.
I did that. I forget how old I was when I did that, but there are pictures of me from a trip to New York City when I was little, and I had just said, I think I asked for a flat top, but they just like buzzed my hair and said that's a flat top, and maybe that's what it was at the time. I don't know.
You saying that, of course, brings memories of that haircut back to me. And don't take this the wrong way. I hope his doesn't look like yours.
Yeah, it was ill-advised.
Yeah.
And when I say like flat top, I do think part of me wanted that like Kid and Play style flat top.
Right. In the end, probably we dodged a bullet. Even though it still looked like a bullet, we didn't realize there was a worse bullet.
If we had pictures of me with like that full-on straight up and straight over the top, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to look at it now. I wouldn't have liked to have lived through it then, but I would like to look at it now.
Yeah. But I like that. What has prompted Axel to want that?
He just decided. He saw somebody else with it. I think his hair is always sort of in his face. And he also is wearing glasses. And I think that internally there is, even though everything he says is crazy, I think he does have like a core internal logic and he knows it's the right choice.
Yeah. Well, if it's a mistake, he'll live and learn.
This is a kid who the other day I said, "Where are your glasses?" And he said, "I threw them off." And I said, "Where?" And then he retraced his steps and I watched him mime how he threw him. And then he walked over and picked them up.
Well,
he was running full speed, threw them off to get in the pool. And then his memory was good enough that he could walk back and then just,
yeah. He just rewound his life to find them.
Rewound his life. There was the other great one. I know last summer, I know I told you this, but there was a pirate party. And Axel buried his glasses.
Yeah.
And put an X over where he buried them, pirate style. But then it was a beach where just people were walking around, and so there were just footsteps everywhere. Yeah. And then I was helping him trying to find his glasses, and any parent with kids with glasses, you're just so panicked. Yeah. You're not going to find the glasses. And he looked at me at one point and goes, "Boy, I could really use my glasses right now." Not to make our whole preamble here Axel stuff, but I picked up Axel at camp the other day. And one of the other kids said, "Is it true that you wrote the song The Final Countdown?"
Someone said that to you or someone said
that? Yeah, a kid said that to me. Because Axel was telling everyone at camp that I wrote the song by Europe, The Final Countdown.
Yeah.
Which is such a funny thing to tell kids at camp.
Yeah. Also, you told me that they like that song now and that Axel says he likes it, but also it's a little bit scary.
It's a little bit scary. The Final Countdown, he likes it a lot. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah,
because the vagueness about like what the countdown is to. I think,
right?
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty ominous when it comes up. It's thrilling, but at the same time, the Final Countdown.
The Final Countdown, written by me.
Because they listen to the show, I'm hoping this is going to be a better way to communicate this. Because it's hard. The Foster sisters will talk about this, and that it's hard to say things to someone. So this one's for Mom and Dad.
Okay.
Last two times I've called them, I've talked about how having them on speaker isn't ideal.
Yep.
And now you call, and one of them's like, "Oh, hang on, let me put you on speaker," which is never my goal. And the other one is there, but on the other side of the room. And so you hear like, "Hey, I'm here too." And it's a distant, like, "I'm here too." And then when once it's been Dad in the far side of the room, or I don't know where they are, and once it's been Mom, And whenever that person tries to say something, you don't have a prayer of hearing them.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like being on the phone with someone where you just have like a terrible connection. And it's like, you're just like, all right, all right, goodbye. We'll talk later.
I like that I feel like there's always one thing that it's vague enough that you don't quite know what they're talking about, but it does bring you back to your youth where there's just like, well, just put it down. Don't know what it is, but it does. I'm like, oh, I like this. This is like wearing VR goggles.
So hopefully we can get that sorted out.
Or not. I got to be honest. I think maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I figure if I look in my phone at my my call log, which isn't long, if I call Dad like on his cell phone and he answers, I bet we'll talk for between 10 and 15 minutes. If I call Mom, we'll probably talk between 15 and 20. If I call home and talk to both of them, it's like a 4-minute conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on, I'll put you on speaker, and then Daddy's going to go put his head in the toilet.
But boy, do I love him.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
You know what I love?
Huh.
You know what I'm getting so excited about?
What's that?
Your wedding.
Yeah.
You know why? And we share so many friends.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, obviously it's not 100% crossover or anything, but in a weird way, I feel like I get to go to my wedding again and not have to get married.
Yeah. There are so many.
Not
so
that
many
I would
pockets.
get married again. I want to stress. I would get married again. I just mean not the stress of getting married.
Right. So many pockets of people coming to this wedding. New Hampshire friends, Northwestern friends, Amsterdam friends, LA friends.
LA friends.
Chicago friends. Yeah.
I would venture, there might not be a single person there I haven't met.
Mackenzie's friends.
They can't come.
Oh no!
I don't want to meet new people.
We already invited them.
I don't want to meet new people. This
They're
is
good
about
people.
me. This is about me too.
They're good people.
I'm
You know
excited.
all her family.
I have met a lot of her. I've met a lot of her family.
Yeah, but a lot of her friends you haven't, and they're good people. So
I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too.
Excited about that. Excited about the Foster sisters. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Family trips with the Myers brothers. Family trips with the Myers brothers. Here we go.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello. All right. Are you together? You're not
No.
together.
No, not together.
No. You guys are siblings, right? You know that we need a little space.
Yeah. We put a whole country between us.
Yeah. Sharp elbows.
Yeah.
Where you guys? Wait, where are you? Where are the different places?
L.A.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in LA.
Yeah.
And I don't know which fingers do New York, but
West side, west side. Oh my God.
now
Seth. Oh, sorry.
yes.
I'm sorry. I know we have a podcast, so I have a little bit of issues with letting someone else talk.
Immediate hijack.
All I was going to say is that I am on a text chat with your wife.
Yes.
A group chat that I started called Don't Be Toxic.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm aware of this, and I'm very
You're
happy
aware?
you're bringing it up. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I literally just said to her, wait, I think I'm going on your husband and your brother-in-law's podcast. So I started a chat called Don't Be Toxic, dedicated. Sarah's not on this chat or invited to be.
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean,
No.
can you swear? Can you swear on this podcast or no?
Yeah. And
Well,
I have a feeling
bringing
that
some
won't
toxic
that won't be the
vibes.
last one.
Sarah's not invited to be on it because Sarah's toxic.
Yeah.
And it's a chat dedicated to moms who are obsessed with clean, non-toxic living for ourselves and for our children. And
Yeah.
your wife was a recent add-on. You know, people can like pitch, can I bring this new person on? And your wife was the most recent addition.
Yeah. And can I just say she's a perfect fit for this. She would have kicked in the door of that text chain if you guys hadn't let her in.
There's sort of a classic thing of men buying women like cleaning products, or like, I bought you a vacuum cleaner. Like it's an old sort of thing of like your mom opens a vacuum cleaner for Christmas and is like, really, Bill?
Yeah.
But with Alexi, the way she is, I know she likes things to be so clean that it is where my mind goes. And I already have something lined up for next Christmas that I'm like, ooh, she's going to love this.
She's going to
But
open the package and it's like clean toothpaste.
No, it is. I can't even talk about it right now. I'll let you know come Christmas time. But it's, I feel like I've landed on a good gift for someone who likes it clean.
I made this joke the other day, and I feel like Josh didn't give me what I deserved on it. I said, you know what Alexi does when you give her a glass of water? She reads the label. Because she's like here's a good example. And I know this is not what our listeners want, but I feel like it's good context. Hummus. It's so hard to buy a hummus she's okay with.
Well, because of the seed oils, it's hard to find a good hummus with.
And this is a
the,
thing,
yeah.
right? Yeah. And again, I think a lot of people are listening who are like, the what now?
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
Well, your wife has quickly risen to the top of this chat, just letting you know. And I know you're not surprised to hear that, but she has quickly become the mom of the chat. And it's like, I started the chat, so I need her to also be careful, to tread carefully, because she's really become a bit of a guru on there. And, it's my chat.
You know what your nickname for her is going to be, I'm guessing, within the month? Alexi the Usurper.
Well, I might have to cut her. I have veto rights, and I have the ability to take someone off the chat.
You can get her off. All right, good. Yes, but you're going to enjoy it.
She might start a text chain called "You're Doing It Wrong."
100%. No, but I already feel like she's going to be the person I text over my pediatrician when my daughter gets sick for the first time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You guys are 18 months apart? I feel like you're closer to me. Yeah, okay.
What do you
So
guys?
we're 2 years.
Yeah.
And how many times a week do you see each other in person?
A lot. Most days.
Okay.
Most
That's
days.
great.
We've put a little bit of space between. We used to do the pod sitting next to each other. We have discovered that a little bit of space is good for us. Mm-hmm. But we're in a good place, her and I. But it's not always like that. It really is. It is not always like that.
When was your last time? When was the last era that you would have said bad place?
Within the year.
Okay, gotcha.
There are times where we are like literally at each other's throats, or we've hung up on each other, or we've had a screaming fight. And this is like about real shit, not like, oh, you like left, you stole my sweater.
I hung up on you 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
That's great.
That is true. Hung up on me 2 weeks ago.
Can you say why, or is it too raw?
It's too raw, yeah.
No, it's pretty fucking. Oh, it's pretty raw. It's pretty raw. Okay. But she was. She was just coming after me. She was just coming after me. And so you know what I do? I avoid that and I hang up.
Yeah.
Is there some mileage between your homes? Are you close by? Could you walk to each other's
We can't
houses?
walk. No, we can't walk.
Well, that's good.
That's good space.
It's good.
Do you know Ariel, my sister-in-law? Have you ever met Alexi's sister,
No,
Ariel?
I don't think so. But I want to say our little sister Jordan, who lives in Tribeca,
Yes.
I think she's friends with
She
either
is.
your wife or your sister-in-law.
Both, yeah. Jordan is friends with both of them. So we see, I definitely have seen Jordan more recently than you guys. But they talk all the time, and they don't say goodbye on the phone. So you know that when you're in a room with somebody on the phone and you kind of hear them wrapping it up, and that's when you know it's your time to like talk to your wife again. I always sometimes I'll look over and I'm like, wait, what happened? She's like, I don't know, we just. And
I don't think we don't say goodbye to each other, do we?
We don't. It really annoyed early in my relationship with my husband. We went on a trip to Italy. Sarah, do you remember this? And we were like all like going back to our hotel rooms at the end of the night, and me and Sarah just started like walking in other directions. And Simon was like, whoa, you gotta hug each other goodbye. And we were like, hug each other goodbye? We're gonna see each other in like 8 hours. And he had like never seen siblings that didn't like say goodbye, hug goodbye. And we were like, that's not our vibe.
Listen, Erin's husband grew up with really healthy attachment styles. He's securely attached. Erin and I are not.
Yeah,
So
Josh and I are huge huggers. If I saw Alexi and Ariel hugging, and this is not a lie, I would think something terrible has happened.
Someone died.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would never think this is them being affectionate towards one another.
I'm feeling a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I think it's a real thing.
Wait, I feel better about our relationship hearing that because I think about it a lot. I'm like, what is wrong with us?
Yeah,
'Cause
you're
we
not
are-
alone.
We will be standing there and we'll hug strangers before we hug each other.
Yeah.
So
You guys, now,
Yeah.
how much younger is Jordan than,
So Jordan is 3 years younger than me, and I'm
Okay.
18 months younger than Sarah. So they have 5 years
Gotcha.
between them, about.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors.
Family Trips is supported by AirBnB.
Hey, Sufi.
Hey, Bashi, what's up?
I had a trip recently. I went to Oslo, Norway, and Stockholm, Sweden. And one of the biggest differences between those two places is in Oslo, we were in 3 hotel rooms, and in Stockholm, we were in an apartment. And it was just so much nicer to be able to sit around with your friends at the end of the night after you'd been out, you'd had dinner, you maybe grabbed a cocktail somewhere, and then you got home and you got to sit around and just feel like you were in someone's house, feel like you were in your house maybe. And it just keeps the group together, which is what so much of travel is about. And when we were in Oslo, we were in those hotel rooms. So when we said goodnight, it was goodnight. And that was it. And I really prefer being together with my family or my friends when I'm traveling.
You like a chat zone.
I love a chat zone.
You love a chat zone, and maybe you're someone right now who's thinking about your home. You know what? There's a lot of chat areas. There's a lot of areas where I've chatted with my family, and maybe people can come here and feel like this is their home because of this wonderful space. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. Support for Family Trips comes from LinkedIn. Hey, Bashi,
Yes, Sufi.
you know what B2B stands for?
Business to business.
Absolutely 100% right. And as a B2B marketer, you know how noisy the ad space can be. If your message isn't targeted to the right audience, it just disappears into the noise. With LinkedIn ads, you can precisely reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant.
With LinkedIn's targeting capabilities, you can reach them by job title, industry, company, and more. Stand out with LinkedIn ads and start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today.
It would be like the worst sort of ad for me to see. It would be like, go visit the Grand Canyon. I'd be like, dude, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't happen with LinkedIn. LinkedIn ads allows you to build the right relationships, drive results, reach your customers in a respectful environment.
You'll work with a partner who respects the B2B world you operate in. 79% of B2B content marketers say LinkedIn produces the best results for paid media. So why would you want worse results?
Yeah, why would you want, yeah.
If you're a business, you really you're focused on having your business succeed. So
You want to be with the other 21% of people who are like, no, I'm going to do things my way. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/familytrips to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/familytrips. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Here we go.
So you guys had a company called Favorite Daughter together because you
my
always...
fiance, big fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting. When are you getting married?
In October.
That's exciting. Are
Yeah.
we invited or?
Well,
Let's
see how it
see how
goes. Let's see how it goes.
I love a wedding, and I've invited myself to weddings before, and then attended that wedding. Just putting that.
Oh,
out.
wow.
Well,
All right.
Well done.
But you have favorite daughter because you guys go back and forth about who's the favorite daughter. How does Jordan feel about the fact that she's not even, in your mind, she's not even considered?
No, Sarah would say that Jordan's been the favorite before, right, Sarah? Because you've never been the favorite.
I just think there's something about, definitely. I'm the mysterious one. There's definitely something about the baby that just, the rules don't apply. You know what I mean? They just sort of like, what do you need? Oh my God. So there's just this it's just different. It's just a totally different dynamic. I think the oldest me, it's just, I think we've all taken turns. Maybe you and Jordan have taken turns. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever been the favorite.
Did you have resentment, either of you, when you had a younger sister enter the fray, a final younger sister?
I wanted to be an only child.
From the jump. Okay.
Yeah, from the get-go. I feel like I have memories at 3 years old being like, what are they doing here? I mean, like things were good. What are we doing here? But now, as an adult, we have children, the cousins, the this. I'm happy they're here. I'm happy.
That's good.
I've
That's good that you
come
finally came to that conclusion.
Yeah, I've come around.
Sarah and I became close as adults, but did not have a friendship as kids or teenagers,
wow.
really. And Jordan and I have always been very close. And so now I'm close with both of them. But
Hold on.
Sarah met me when I was like 25.
No. Let's not misrepresent, okay? Because you do this a lot. We have receipts, okay? We have receipts. We can go back. We spent a lot of time together. I was the oldest, so I mean, how deep do we go here?
Go for it. It's family trips.
Right. I think for me, our parents were divorced when we were really young. And I think as the oldest, you're sort of more aware of everything. You're more aware of everything. The oldest is the one that, maybe your parents are telling more than they're telling the younger one. So I was kind of in like survival mode from a very young age. And I just kind of detached. I made my friends my family. I mean, it's actually sad if you think about it, but it all worked out. And I think I was just sort of surviving. And then Erin and Jordan were like, well, where's our older sister? Why isn't she there for us? And I was trying to be there for myself. I mean, we've dived into this on our podcast, but I think it's taken us a lot of time to sort of, hold space for each other's journey as young kids. Because it's not always as simple as like, you were a mean sister. It's always more complicated.
Did any of you feel a burden to be there for your mother, or were you too young to like see it through her emotional lens? Okay.
That was more me for sure.
For sure. I mean, you're
But again, like our mom, and we have a great relationship with our mom, and she didn't put that burden on me, but I took it. You know how I don't know if you guys had different childhoods in the same household, because we have very different experiences.
I think we had the same one.
Are your parents like married 40 years? Like the whole 50. Okay, so even worse.
52,
okay, got it.
53 now.
All three of us had different childhoods in the same home with the same parents.
Yeah. So you guys had like an idyllic childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were growing up in the woods of New Hampshire, and you were growing up in LA, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, I think it's just like, it's divorced parents who, and other relationships, step parents and all these things, like everyone kind of takes on a different role maybe. And so Sarah sort of went into self-protective mode, and then I went into like protect Jordan mode and protect my mom mode. And so then I was very much like trying to be the perfect child for all of them. I
think our family dynamics transcend LA. If this was the same family dynamic
right.
in, Tampa, Florida, it would have been the same feeling, right? It would have.
But there was just a heightened thing having being in an entertainment family, because then there's more eyeballs on you. There's more like, assumptions, or people sort of like, you guys are so spoiled, or you're so lucky, or you're so, they think you come from a certain kind of family, and so life is like perfect or great. And so there's a little bit more, I guess, like more resentment, because you can't see the dysfunction as well. Like from the outside.
Yeah.
And then do you feel, so obviously, your mom has 3 kids, divorced, and she did it. That's who you lived with, right? That was your entire childhood then?
Yeah. We were always close with our dad. We just never lived with him. He had stepkids that he lived with, and he was married to somebody else. And we saw him all the time, but we just primarily lived with our mom. Yeah.
And do you feel the 3 of you were easy kids to share a roof with as a mom?
No.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, my mom has a lot of apology notes that I used to slide under her door, because I would like flip out on her, like be mean or do something bad, and then I would always like spiral afterwards, but I didn't want to apologize to the face, and so I would slide.
That's hard.
It's hard to do. I still have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I now have a 13-year-old who is totally. She is me. It's like God created her. God created her so that I could apologize to my mother on a daily basis. Now, she was sent from God to be go hug your mom, But and Erin and I were talking about this the other day. Even in the midst of the chaos in LA and the this and the that, we were three pretty solid kids. None of us ever, did drugs or got in trouble or were promiscuous which is it's a sad.
I was a little promiscuous.
You were a little bit promiscuous. I was definitely not promiscuous. But it's a sad thing when you want a medal because you're like, nobody got a DUI, nobody got arrested, nobody got pregnant.
True, like no rehab, no teen pregnancy, no drug problems,
Yeah. All that stuff counts. That's all good.
Yeah.
I think that our parents established we feared them just enough. Just enough, not too much, but just enough to not want to disappoint them. And they really did instill, ethics and knowing right from wrong. And we in the midst of our all those, hectic years, we were good kids. We were solid.
And did you, so let's get into trips. Did your mom ever take all three kids? Did you guys go places?
It's so interesting that we're talking about this because it's something we talk about as a family a lot. Our mom has opened up to us later in life about how it was really hard for her to measure up to the trips we would go on with our dad.
Yeah.
So our dad became this person, he was the one with the money and he was the one that could provide these things. And so he just became the parent that took us on really fun, exciting trips. And our mom has opened up later, and she wouldn't mind us saying this, that it was really hard for her because she couldn't do that for us.
Yeah.
And so our memories of our trips are really with our dad and not with our mom.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a one time that she tried to bring us. she tried to plan a trip, and it was to Cabo, right, Sarah?
To a hotel that was half opened, so it was like a disaster. And I think a hurricane came, and it was.
And also, like her idea was that we would spend Christmas at the hotel in Cabo, but like kids, like pretty sure we still believed in Santa at this point, and we were like, sorry, we're in Cabo, like in like the sunshine at the beach within a hotel room, all four of us in the same room together.
By the way, in like this
Christmas.
little tiny room in a hotel that is half empty. I think the restaurants weren't even open yet. And our poor mom was like,
I do kind of remember falling in love with a local boy on that trip though. Because I found my journal later and I wrote about him. And
is that where the little bit of promiscuity started?
We didn't last as long as I was expecting to last because it only lasted about 3 days.
No one had a lot of money on that going going the distance. But
sadly, it didn't make it home.
Did you guys ever see that movie with Katherine Heigl and Gerard Depardieu, My Father the Hero? Did you see this movie?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Totally. Totally
amazing movie.
Totally inappropriate, by the way.
Yeah.
Would never be allowed to be made. It's about a 14-year-old girl pretending that her father is her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So that probably wouldn't be allowed to be made. But she pretended that her dad was her boyfriend in order to get the local boy at the hotel to like her. I mean, this is really creepy the way that I'm saying this. But anyways, it's a great film.
It does feel like every American actor passed before a French actor was like, yes, this makes sense to me.
100%. He was like, this is not a weird concept.
This is the norm.
It honestly is a really good movie, but we actually went to the hotel that it was filmed at in the Bahamas on a trip in the Bahamas. I want to say it's like the place everyone goes. What's the
No, Erin. This is when we realized. Yeah, this is when we realized how the sausage is made, okay? You see a movie when you're young and you're like, oh my God, the lobby, the beaches, this is the most grand, gorgeous thing you've ever seen. And then you actually get there and you're like, this is the biggest dump of all time. And then you realize, oh, movie making is a little bit smoke and mirrors. So we get to this hotel that looked like a 5-star Aman in the movie. And then we get there like, this is like a sandals resort. What is this? It was actually, I think, a sandals resort.
But in the hotel, there was a scene where Katherine Heigl sees this really cute guy who he works like the canoes, the jet skis and stuff, right? And she's like walking through the lobby and they like lock eyes. And then she bumps into the table that's in the middle of the lobby and kind of embarrasses herself. And so I was like 12, 13, and I just kept thinking like this is going to happen to me because I'm at the same hotel. And I swear I am not saying this for the story. Like I kept going to the lobby and like walking slowly and looking around to like lock eyes with someone. And I just kept like reaching to that table and like it just wasn't happening. It just didn't happen. It was
I'm so impressed you guys grew up in LA and fundamentally misunderstood everything about movie making.
Because there is our dad was in the music music business. It was very different. I mean, we had no access. I mean, we would go to a movie premiere and we would be like, oh my God, how are we at a movie premiere? How do we even get tickets? I mean, we did have an element. We weren't totally jaded. I mean, Barbara Streisand would walk in our kitchen or Whitney Houston and we'd be like, what's up? Like, we didn't care. Yeah. But when it came to Hollywood, that felt so unattainable. That felt like I remember we went on a trip with Kevin Costner. Okay. Our dad became friends with Kevin Costner around the Bodyguard days.
Great days. Another great movie.
Great days.
Fantastic
movie. We went on a trip with him. You guys, it was as if we were in the presence of Gandhi. I didn't know how to contain myself. I had never been on a trip with a movie star before. It was just...
I kind of don't remember this. Was this in Canada?
It was in Canada, yeah.
Okay, I do remember.
It was in Canada. And I felt like we were amongst royalty. It was just a very different... it was a different world for us.
Is everyone just sort of like whispering as you go by? Are heads turning everywhere you go?
Honestly, no, because the trips that we took every summer, we went to a place every summer for 1 month. It was a place in Canada called Desolation Sound. This is in Canada. These are just normal people who probably didn't even know.
Our dad made us vacation around the normies. It was just sad.
So how did your dad pick Desolation Sound? Like, what was his connection to...
His childhood. He's from BC. That's where he's from.
So this was bring his kids, get him out of LA, bring him back to his normie Canadian childhood.
No, and he would drive the boat. He would drive the boat. We would eat SpaghettiOs. That was what we. I'm not. This is not an exaggeration. We ate SpaghettiOs every day. That was it.
And he would make us wake up at 5 a.m. to go fishing in the morning. And he would take the dinghy out into the middle of nowhere and then turn the engine off and be like, "Tell me which direction is north." And I don't remember, there would be some punishment if we couldn't figure it out or something. And we'd all be scared that we were stuck in the middle of the ocean. He'd always put us on these little survival tests. And I'm pretty sure we failed every single time.
Were you guys the kind of kids who were excited about getting in a dinghy at 5 a.m. to go fishing?
I would say I was and Sarah wasn't, probably.
No, I like to sleep. I was a big sleeper as a kid.
I was a big sleeper.
I could sleep 18 hours. We'd go on a trip and I'd be asleep in a hammock. Or now that I think about it, something might have been wrong with me.
Sarah was sleeping her life away for sure.
Anemia or something. I don't know. But I was not excited to wake up. But, I was the kid where I would be the least into it, but then I'd be the one that would, catch the 25-pound spring salmon. And everyone would be like, oh, she doesn't even care. She doesn't even care.
I was going to say.
She doesn't even want to be here. And she's the one out of all of us on the whole trip that catches the greatest fish.
Actually, now that you're saying that, it's pissing me off. Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would, that seems like a real burn for a middle sister.
I woke up at 5 a.m. and I did everything right, and I carried all the bait, and this bitch just walks in and just is like, "Oh my God, I accidentally caught a 25-pounder. What do I do with it?"
I like that even fish are she wants it too much.
Yeah.
She's I don't like her vibe is too needy. It's gonna be if she catches me, it's gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna have to take pictures.
Oh my God, it's
Can I just say, just to loop back, so Kevin Costner then agreed to go on this SpaghettiOs vacation just out of his friendship with your father?
Yeah, well, because my dad did all the music to the Bodyguard. So
there you go.
They established this friendship, and then I'm sure Kevin was looking to give his kids some normalcy also. So I don't want to put words in his mouth.
By the way, this is an 8-year-old's revisionist history probably of what actually happened.
I love it though. Sure. I love it, yeah.
I'm actually very clear, Erin. I have no memory of many things. I'm always fascinated by people that can write autobiographies about their life. I'm like, how do you remember this? I don't even remember what I did yesterday. How can you go back to that feeling of when you were 10 and da-da-da? But this I actually remember.
I'm glad this is the one that stuck out to you.
I will say this about, just to loop back to the being in thrall of Kevin Costner. He is one of the guests. And again, I've been now doing showbiz for 25 years. Kevin Costner is still one of those people, when I talk to Kevin Costner, I can't believe I'm talking to Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He has that star quality. He has that. Yeah. He's got Riz, you guys.
Yeah, he's got Riz. Which I use all the time. I use the term all the time correctly, Riz.
And it's a good one. And I don't feel like a millennial using the wrong Gen Z word. I feel like I feel like we are entitled to use it.
Absolutely. And I don't only repeat it when someone younger than me says it. I'll say it on my own.
Yeah. I also say it a lot to like Sarah's daughter who's 13 to just like remind her that I know what's up, you know?
But they can smell it, right?
Facts.
A 13-year-old can
Facts.
smell. Yeah.
Facts.
So when you go up to Canada for a month, are you sort of on this regimented thing, or do you girls go off on your own at some time, or is it you're sort
No,
of
I mean
your
we're
unit?
not on like a yacht. Let's be clear.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
like
I know,
Yeah,
but yeah.
it's like a small boat where the three of us are in a room the size of a closet. So there's like a bed. There's a
Bunk
solo
beds and a solo, yeah.
But imagine, I mean, it's like a closet, right? So it's like a floating. I'm sure I got.
Oh, so you
solo
are
bed.
on a boat, like
Yeah.
where you're staying and sleeping is a boat.
Is
A boat.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 50 feet. You know, so it's
Okay.
not like a whatever, but you know,
It's not a nothing. It's not a nothing, and it's not a yacht. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
got a living room. We watched a lot of laser discs. We watched a lot of Drop Dead Fred. That was a big staple on the boat.
Gotcha.
Because you only have like 10 laser discs, and then you're just kind of like watching them over and over again.
I would say almost no one watched a lot of Drop Dead Fred. So that's really
Except for
exciting.
us.
That was a great film.
I feel like it's like a movie you've either like, have you seen it or not? No one's like, have you watched it a lot?
Well, we watched it maybe 10,000
10
times.
laser discs.
Yeah, I also have a memory of. You guys remember that Melanie Griffith movie, Working Girl?
Of
Do you remember
course.
this movie?
That's great.
Okay, you guys, here's another vivid memory I have. Us sitting, watching this movie, and this one scene coming on, graphic, I'm not going to even say what it is, traumatized me. It was like a sexual situation, and I was traumatized, okay? I was like, I'm still traumatized by it. I mean, I have this visual of, like, not that big of a deal, but I had never seen, like, a sexual, I don't know, it was just...
There was like a sexual harassment-y element,
There was
right? Was it a little bit of
something.
that? Like somebody
Yes,
getting handsy with Melanie?
There was just, yes. And I just remember being like, oh my God. It was like, what am I watching? I'm like, how are we allowed to watch this movie? But then I watched it recently. I was like, this movie's like PG. I don't know what it was, but I have a vivid memory of the movie Working Girl and not liking what I was seeing.
My memory of Working Girl, which I worked in a video store, and so I just remember looking at the poster. It's like the best power suit, big hair poster. So
Hot.
fun.
Hot.
And that, is it Let the River Run? That Carly Simon song, I feel like is
Yes.
that. Yeah. You know that one,
Yes.
Posh, right?
Wait, who directed that movie? That wasn't a Mike Nichols movie, was it?
Oh, God, it feels like it might be.
Wait, now I want to know.
Just on the Drop Dead Fred tip, we had Paul Scheer on recently, who also has a podcast, and he said one of their most popular episodes of How Did This Get Made is about Drop Dead Fred. And
Wait, I want to listen to that.
yeah, just seems like
Mike
it's,
Nichols. Mike
it's-
Nichols. I'm right.
Nice pull,
it's in the ether right now,
Okay,
Drop
I
Dead
will-
Fred. So
wait.
maybe it needs a revisit.
I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Josh, what do you do in LA?
I'm an actor and a writer, and I guess a podcaster now. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
And what part
Don't
of LA do you
say
live
it
in?
like that.
Well, yeah, and I have a podcast.
the
I'm
way,
in Hollywood. I'm
can
right
make
by
little-
sort of UCB, Birds.
Oh yeah, I know that area.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That
Used
whole,
to frequent that area.
yeah,
in my
La
20s.
Poubelle. I'm guessing you
Yeah.
probably went to La Poubelle.
Been on many a first dates there.
Yeah, it's a good first date place, right?
Wait, do you remember Cafe Med?
Where was Cafe Med?
Sarah, that's West Hollywood.
Wait, no,
He's
it's
talking
on,
like East Side for you.
No, I'm saying like Sunset and what's that street? Yeah, okay, never mind.
No, you're thinking more West Hollywood. Sarah didn't venture east. She's
No,
she's
no.
a West Side gal.
If I was,
yeah, no.
let's see, if I was 22 and it was still open, I would go like more like Cafe Mid. Would that work?
Mid is another
Okay, good.
term that should be used often.
No, Cafe Med was the place. I mean, it was just some like crappy Italian. It wasn't even good. The food was disgusting. But because of the location, it was just right in the heart of everything. So you'd be like, one day you could go and there were always celebrities there. So when you were young and 18 and 19, it was like you would know if you would go to this restaurant, you might be discovered. You just never know. I mean, this was this was the place in the early 2000s.
We were, so early 2000s is right about when you moved there early 2000s, right, Josh?
To LA, yeah.
So who was the first celebrity you saw in person? Just being like out and about in LA. Do you remember?
No, I have no idea. That's why I'm never writing that autobiography. I don't have that.
I saw James Spader at a Tower Records.
Ooh, the Tower Records, right? The one on
The
Sunset?
Tower Records on Sunset, yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
Whoa.
And did you go up to him?
I did not go up to him, but I remember it was that thing where I texted everyone I knew in college.
Mm-hmm. Wait, were you is texting a thing back then?
You were maybe like BlackBerrying?
I went
BBMing?
to a FedEx and I was faxing them at a FedEx Kinko's.
Or that was like the Nokia like snake phone, maybe?
I had a very thin black
A Nokia. You had a
yeah.
Nokia. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had a Nokia. Yeah.
I did have lunch with Mom at the Chateau, and she was like, "Is that Bjork?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "I'm gonna go say hi." And I was like, "Please don't go say hi to Bjork." And I was like, "Name one Bjork song." And she couldn't, but she did. Like, Bjork has a look about her and an aura. And, my mom wasn't going to take pictures of Bjork's kid, which was not well received. But it was like in that era. And I was like, just let her eat her lunch. She did not go say hi. But
Oh my God. The Chateau. I mean, those were the days. Like, those were between 95 and 2015, or maybe earlier. The Chateau was the place.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. Support for family trips comes from Element. Hey, Bashi.
yes, Uvi.
We were talking yesterday offline about the new box of Element flavors we just got our hands on.
Ooh, so good.
There was a new one I just tried. Have you tried mango chili?
No, but I will today.
It's a killer. It's so good. I mean, a killer in a good way. Killer taste.
Yeah.
And I'm hydrated. Went for a run, had my mango chili, ready to face the day.
Electrolyte deficiency or imbalance can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, brain fog, and weakness. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times government recommendations. Each stick pack delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial colors, or other dodgy ingredients.
Get your free LMNT Sample Pack with any purchase at drinkelement.com/trips. Also try the new LMNT Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte watertight. Try LMNT. Totally risk-free. If you don't like it, we'll refund your order, no questions asked. Again, for your free LMNT Sample Pack, go to drinklmnt.com/trips. That's drinklmnt.com/trips. This episode of Family Trips is brought to you by Nissan.
Hey, Sufi, let's play a quick game. I'm going to say a word, and we both say the first word it makes us think of at the same time. Ready?
I am ready, Pashi.
All right, first word, cereal. Grape
Killers.
nuts. All right.
Oh, okay. We thought of different cereals. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to happen, but maybe let's try to lock in. Let's try to mind meld here.
Okay.
Next word, museum. The Louvre.
Gift shop as one word.
Okay. I said the Louvre. You said gift shop. I know we can be better at this. Let's try one more, all right?
Okay.
All right, last one. Rugged. The Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek, where form meets function with stylish orange contrast stitching and water-repellent seat material.
Whoa.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say me
For
rugged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Posh, with the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek, you can flex your ruggedness from rocky trails and muddy paths to sandy dunes and snowy roads.
Yeah, flex your ruggedness, Soup.
I will. Stop the laughing. Featuring 18-inch beadlock style wheels and all-terrain tires, plus a tubular roof rack with up to 220 pounds of dynamic capacity for loading up your gear, the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek is designed to be aggressive all the way up to the front grille.
And all the while, you can stay connected while you drive with wireless Apple CarPlay, allowing you to listen to unbelievable, life-changing, mind-blowing podcasts, and also family trips.
Why also never mind. So thanks again to Nissan for sponsoring this episode of Family Trips. Now, go find your path and enjoy the ride along the way. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Can I do the fast part, Posh?
Please.
Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Cargo and load capacity limited by weight and distribution. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading in the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle. Compatible device service and consumer activation and Nissan Connect services. Package required. Use only when safe and legal. Subject to third-party service availability. Apple CarPlay is a trademark of Apple Inc.
That's what it sounds like when you read to your kids.
Yeah, I just want to get to bed.
Here we go.
So when do you think the two of you realized you were gonna stay in the place you grew up?
I always thought that I was going to live in New York in my 20s, and I just didn't have the balls to do it. And I really do regret it because I have like a burning like need to live in New York still. But now I'm like,
Yeah, but do you?
married with a 3-month-old, and well, my husband and I still talk about the fact that like, you know how you have an idea of like what success looks like financially, you're like, what does life look like? Like, what's the dream? Maybe it's like have a chef. Maybe it's like live in a certain part of town. Ours is have a place in New York while we live in LA. And that's like my dream. I really want to have that because I never
But
did it.
Erin, here's how I feel about this. Nobody wants this, the Netflix show that's coming out. I always push for that to be a New York show. It felt right. Kristen Bell, Adam Brody, they're in New York, the whole thing. And it was your opportunity. That show could have been a New York show and you didn't want it. So I think we can't swear on this podcast is the feeling I'm getting.
You already have.
No, you already haven't. So you can say it.
But I felt like I was met with like, oh, so I'm going to not
It was just
swear.
jarring because it happened so soon. It
Yeah,
was like
right.
right out of the gates.
Right, it was
but
like
she
too
calls
much.
bullshit. Here, I'll jump in. She calls
Okay,
bullshit.
thank you.
Erin.
Thank you. Because
Well, there's a couple
yeah.
factors in that though. One is that I'm not the person to write a rom-com that takes place in New York because I've never lived there. So I think it's from an outsider's perspective, I think it's much better when you write something from what you know. And
Yes,
the
I think that's
show
right.
feels like an authentically Los Angeles show because it's more, real. And also Kristen Bell has kids who live in LA
True.
and she will only do a show in LA, which like more power to her. I would love to have the same rule for myself. So
Okay,
Sarah,
all right.
it's not
So
really
you guys,
on-
this is a new show that Erin, you created this show.
Yep.
You're show running this show. Sarah, you're also a producer on the show.
Yep.
And you guys have obviously collaborated a lot, not just on businesses, but also creatively. You guys were on my show in, I think, 2015?
I know we were.
For,
We were so nervous.
for
Barely
Barely
famous.
We were
You were
nervous.
so nice though, and we did
Oh,
all of
please.
We did no. We did all the shows. Not going to name names. Every
Not
late
all.
night
We
show.
did another one.
We did a
and
lot.
The other person was not that nice to us.
There was one particular host who was such a.
Yeah.
Not gonna say it, but
Okay.
he was really terrible. And I remember we did your show, and afterwards, Erin and I were like, "What a great guy!" Like
Oh, thank you.
No. I'm not trying to make you feel good.
No, but the
truly.
other one was not nice
It does
to
make
us.
me feel good, though.
The other one was not nice to us.
I hear this. This gets reported to me very often by
It's a
people who...
nerve-wracking experience, right, Josh?
It
like
is,
it's like
yeah.
it's you're very stressed, you're very nervous. It's like this big primetime thing, and like all the A-list people, go, and you feel a little bit does he want to be interviewing us? Like he does no fucking clue who we are, and you just want to feel like you're being treated nicely. And we had a good experience on yours, and the other one, kind of left us in tears. And so it really it was a strong contrast.
I will tell you guys, and I'm not just saying this. You have very good vibes, and it is in general. I don't love interviewing two people at once, but when they're siblings, especially, it's such a delight. You never feel like you two are gonna have trouble sharing the stage.
Are we getting Kristen Bell and Adam Brody or either of them on your show to promote? They're doing.
I feel like Kristen's coming up. Although I might have it confused with the fact that Dax is coming soon, and I don't see gender. So for me, if one spouse shows up,
Well, if you happen to start seeing gender, can you make sure Kristen comes on the show?
yes, this is
Okay,
very
great.
exciting. Congratulations. Do you guys?
Thanks.
But do you feel like you, independent of being siblings, do you collaborate well creatively?
I think we do now. I mean, I think that our first experience collaborating together was Barely Famous, which is what we came on your show to promote. And that was growing pains a little bit. We were trying to figure out, what the dynamic is, what our lane is, what our strengths and weaknesses are. And Erin naturally is a director. She's naturally a director writer. And I am not. I am more of a performer, and I do the business behind the scenes and all of that. So on Barely Famous, it was a little bit of a struggle, but I think ultimately what we created really worked. And now we really know, we lean into what I'm good at and what she's good at. So now it's a really sort of seamless process for us. But it's taken time and a lot of work and a lot of therapy.
Yeah. Well, you put it in and you get it out. Do you? Yeah. I do because, again, not to throw around who's favorites or anything, but I obviously, I'm drawn to Jordan because of the fact she lives in New York City.
By the way, Jordan is a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah.
But how did she, when you were on these trips in Canada, she's a little bit younger, was she able to roll with you guys?
Totally.
Yeah. We were really like, I think that when we were kids on these trips, because we had like a separated, divorced parents, and we were kind of like in the trenches together, the three of us, so we really like stuck together. And I've always been really, really protective of Jordan, at the expense of me and Sarah's relationship, because still as adults, I'm super protective of Jordan, and Sarah is like so over it.
I'm like, Erin, we're close to being senior citizens. We're all good now. Like, it's okay. You can just,
I just like can't ever, I don't know. I'm just forever protective of Jordan. She's just like, she was my little baby growing up, and like I took on a very maternal role for whatever reason. Like everyone takes a role in the family, especially. And I think this is why it's different for you guys than it was for us, is that when you have like, I don't want to throw the word like trauma around with kids, but like when you're having a tough situation and like you go into these survival instincts, I do think that's when kids like sort of find their role. Like, what's my role? How do I fix this? How do I become part of the solution? And because there's turmoil. And so I really leaned into, I really liked being needed by Jordan. I liked like her like looking up to me and, wanting me to teach her things and fix things. And so we have a very like codependent kind of relationship. So Jordan was always taken care of, and in a lot of ways was protected from a lot of it because, you're welcome.
But you know what I brought to their attention recently? I was like, you guys need to think about it like this. The way that, you guys had each other. I didn't have an older sibling. I always wanted an older brother. It was just this thing in me that I always felt was missing from my life. I felt like an older brother, it was this thing that I always felt was supposed to be there that I didn't have and that I really needed, So I think it's weird. And I don't know.
There is a lot. I do think older siblings.
I'd say they're overrated.
What? No, come on. You do, sometimes I can tell, I always say like my oldest, I think has this maturity about himself because he always felt the burden of he feels the burden, whether he knows it or not, of being a good kid. Like, because we were so looking at him to show us what a kid is. Whereas then the second showed up and the third showed up and they're like, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to figure it out, at my own rate.
How old are your kids, Seth?
8, 6, and the girl's about to be 3.
2 boys and a girl?
Yeah. Wow. And we call her the girl. She doesn't have a name.
Sarah, that, I'm sure you don't know, but there's like a famous story of Seth's wife giving birth in the lobby of their building.
Yeah.
What? No.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's a whole stand-up special about it.
Yeah. And you think that, and by the way, those floors were very toxic. And yet she just had a baby.
Did you just like miss the signs of labor or what happened?
I was on it. I think it was her. No, she had the first one came very fast, and we should have. I feel as though the medical community should have heads us up that the second one would be even faster. But she was literally on her way out the door, and
just felt
that's
the
New
need.
York.
Just
that's
one
one
of
of the dangers
New
of
York
New York
City, baby. Yeah, she gave birth in the lobby, and it's very fun when my kids walk through the park. Sometimes strangers will say, "Which one's lobby, baby?" And Ash, the older one, will go, "He's lobby baby, I'm hospital baby." And like nobody
But
cares.
isn't there a whole thing about how like your wife asked you many times to put the doctor's phone number in your phone?
That's the worst. Yeah, how dare you bring this up?
I'm so sorry.
She did. She like for months was like, make sure you have the doctor's number in your phone. And then she had a baby in the lobby and she's like, call the doctor. And I had to say, what's his number? And I think it's the maddest. And by the way, there's a lot of good competition, but I do feel as though that's both the maddest she's been and the most justified she's been.
Right. That was the lowest low.
As somebody who had 2 children with drugs,
Yeah.
the amount of respect I have
Oh.
for women that do not, Erin being one of them, your wife, who I don't know, but I hear so many amazing things
Yeah,
about.
you can guess. No drugs.
As somebody who has begged like a heroin addict for drugs, I've never done drugs in my life, but the pain is something you cannot comprehend. And maybe people are listening going, oh, you're exaggerating. I am not exaggerating, okay? So when I hear about women who electively, I mean, I guess your wife, it wasn't elective, but she did it. I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like,
Well, did
how
she do
is this possible?
unmedicated for the other 2 as well?
Yeah, unmedicated. And the third one, home birth, planned home birth. So
Like
that-
Erin.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Oh, you did?
I did. It's fucking insane.
You guys
I'm
are
very,
crazy.
very impressed you did it for the first one because even as a dad, I don't know if I would have been able to make that leap. But because once you have one in the lobby, you're like, yeah, you have them everywhere. It's fine.
We live, like, I can see Cedars from my window here. So we live very close to a hospital. And my husband at first was like, under no circumstances are we having a home birth. That's insane. It's not happening. But then we got a doctor who was, obviously down with it. And once we had we had 9 months to discuss it. And by the time it was go time, he was like, I totally see why this is the move of what we're doing. And also we're at a different, like, I'm 41 years old. It's not like you're 27 and like you don't know anything about the world. Like, I had done enough research by that point. I'd made him seen the movies and he was like, okay, I see why this is a responsible choice to make. And
I will say again, I sometimes think we lay too much of one thing being the reason our kids have a certain personality. But my kids definitely have 3 personalities. One was born in a hospital, one was born in a lobby, and one was born in a bathtub. Because our daughter just, her first night of her life, like she just slept in bed, but curled up against Alexi, and she just, everything about her is so chill. Whereas the one that was born in the lobby is a lunatic.
He's like always ready for like an emergency.
He is an emergency, I would say.
Yeah. His hair's not actually on fire,
Here's how I hope this story is okay to tell. And by the way, I'm probably fudging it a little, but here's how anti-drugs Alexi is for childbirth. And I should also stress, she's no judgment for anybody who does. But
at least not publicly on a podcast.
Yeah. That's a podcast thing. A lot of people who know her right now just threw off their headphones.
I thought about it.
She was with Ariel when Ariel had her daughter. Ariel asked Alexi to tell the doctor she wanted drugs. Ariel was not going to do drugs, and then the pain was so bad, she's like, go tell him. And Alexi did not.
No. Alexi's like, yeah. I just told him they're getting the drugs for you.
And now I think
Oh my
Alexi would
God.
say, let me try to back it up. I think Alexi would say it was too late. That by the time she asked,
Because she's a doctor.
she's also a doctor, and
Not a doctor.
with a
That's
quote
really-
with giant quote fingers on both sides.
That's really well, but I have heard that the rules have changed recently, and that there's no longer like a point where you can't do an epidural. That's what I've
Gotcha.
been hearing lately. It's like it's changed. Now you can change your mind at different points. But I intentionally didn't want to do it at a hospital because I think it's way ballsier to say no to drugs when you have them as an option. Like when you're doing it at home, you cannot
Right.
get an epidural. It's not an option. So you're just like, there's no turning back. And to me, that's the only way to do it. If you have the choice, it's almost like a primal instinct. You're just going to ask for them.
Yeah. It's like going to a bar in dry January. You're like, no, just
Exactly.
if you're
Like,
gonna do dry January, don't go to the bar.
I wanted to not be tempted, but one of the funny things that was happening is like my doula kept telling me, you're going to get to a point where the pain is unimaginable, and we call it the wall. When you get to the wall and you say, okay, I'm done, I'm out, I can't do this, I changed my mind, that means you're about to meet your baby. You're right at the end. And I'm like, okay, great. guys, I hit my wall like 3 times. And I kept saying, I'm at the wall, guys. I am at the wall. I am here. I've arrived. I'm done. And they would be like, oh, babe, you're like 5 centimeters. Like, you can't even see the wall. The wall is nowhere in sight. And that was like the scariest moment, like how far I have to come. And I kept thinking I was at the wall and I was not there.
I think the only thing I've done in my life where someone has said, there's a wall is I ran a marathon, and everybody talks about hitting the wall in a marathon. And it would be really funny if people said that in a marathon as well, which is like, you're going to hit a wall and just get through it and you're going to meet your baby.
Wait, isn't mile 16 the wall in a marathon?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. 16.
And did you hit your wall at that point?
Oh, yeah. It's you can't believe you have to run 10 more miles. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part. It's not even the pain. It's just as you're doing internal math of like how much more time there is.
Do you walk at all, or you're literally running the whole time?
Again, this is years ago. I would walk a lot if I did it now, but I did not walk when I ran a marathon.
Hold on. You did not walk one time?
No. I mean, I think there were times that I maybe was running at a pace where it looked like I was standing still, but I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the people like at a crosswalk?
Yeah.
Who are
it
just
was
like still running?
I'm hitting my wall for not talking about trips.
Oh, Josh is going to jump in here and get us back.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever take any road trips?
We did some Winnebago trips.
Oh, look at that.
But when I was making my coffee this morning, thinking about trips and like
Sure.
what we, I was thinking like, Erin, have something that you're coming into with this. And the thing that I thought about the most was a trip that I didn't go on. Because when I was 12, our dad was going to take us all to Tokyo with, wait for it, Color Me Bad.
Oh,
Great.
Okay. And I said, that weekend doesn't work for me because I'm going on the first boy-girl trip to Catalina with my class. Now, Catalina, for a New Yorker, this is like going to like
Don't
Jersey?
say the Hamptons. Don't say the Hamptons.
No,
Maybe
it's like going to Jersey. I don't know. It's like going to like, what's like Coney
Yeah,
Island?
the Jersey Shore, maybe? Not
Coney
even.
Island. It's like going to Coney
Okay.
Island. Okay. It's an hour-long boat ride to a random little island that's got nothing there. And then my dad was like, that's an insane decision to make. We're going to Tokyo. Color Me Bad will be there. You'll be hanging with them. And I was like,
Aaron, we got to
can't do it.
We got to give context to the audience. I don't know the age of your audience, but Color Me Bad, I would say the equivalent is like One Direction at the height,
Okay.
yeah.
right?
That's fair.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
No. Color Me
Yeah,
Bad
I mean,
was.
I Want to Sex You Up was such a banger.
thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were everywhere. It was being played at every school dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
and this
I
was
bet
the height.
I bet it was probably being played at Catalina Island when you got there.
100%. And guys, let's be clear. Like I had, romantic feelings for these guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the Color Me Bad band. And I just like had this idea in my mind that I was going to like kiss for the first time on this boy girl Catalina trip, which for the record I did. But
Nice.
which is worth something, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to Tokyo, and it was like the greatest trip of my sisters' lives.
Oh, no.
And-
Both sisters went?
Oh yeah. Both
So
sisters went.
you got firsthand reports of what you missed.
Oh yeah. And honestly, the craziest thing about the story is like what parent lets a 12-year-old decide what trip she's going on or not going on?
Well, I didn't go to Africa with you guys. I was like, no, I'm good. I didn't. But my only opportunity to go to Africa, I didn't go.
It was Africa with New Edition. I just like you guys are
think
like
it's
a
crazy.
weird like music clue.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy to not force your child to go to Tokyo
No,
when
we
she's
went-
12.
We went to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. It was the greatest trip I'll never forget. My mom took me to not Club Med. What's the Club Monaco, which was a store. It's maybe like a Zara, kind of thing. And I got to get 4 things. I bought like a trench coat. I was 13. I wanted to be chic in Tokyo. I was a 13-year-old, and I had this trench coat and like ballet slipper, flat things. I have such a It was
Well,
the
that really is
greatest.
chic.
It was really chic. It was the greatest trip ever, Erin. I got to be honest.
I'm
with
like
you.
still
Sorry.
annoyed when you say that.
We haven't been back to Asia.
Was
haven't been
each of
back.
those cities another Color Me Bad show, or were you seeing some?
It was a tour. So it was a 3-city tour. It was at the Budokan in Osaka. It was a David Farr dad, Color Me Bad. I don't remember who the other performers were, but there were other very exciting performers. So it was a tour. It was a 3-city tour. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. legendary. I mean,
And
legendary.
Erin, do you think part of your decision was at this point, had you been to enough shows that you were a little jaded on concert going, or
No, I just think I
just wanted to smooch? You just wanted to smooch.
Yeah, I just like had big plans,
Yeah.
and they were all happening in Catalina. And and it's just such a bummer because what I actually remember from my Catalina trip was like we did all these, it was like a 5th grade trip, and we did all these like
You were
like,
kissing in 5th grade? That's crazy.
it wasn't like a makeout. It was like a
She said she was promiscuous.
That's true.
I love promiscuous.
it was
5th
like
grade
we-
is crazy.
You know when you do those like trust falls, like group exercises and stuff, and we did one of those like you go into a like you crawl into like a dark like maze and you have to like figure out your way out, and it was like super traumatic, and I'm like very claustrophobic as an adult, and this could have been the time that like made me claustrophobic, and it was like hell. Like I mean, this trip was not anywhere near the Tokyo Osaka trip, and I'm still haunted by that decision that I made.
Well, guess what? You've done well for yourself. You should take it. You should take a trip.
I know.
a
I
trip.
should really go to Tokyo.
I mean, Color Me Bad won't be there, but take a trip.
You
They
could,
might be.
Yeah, you never know.
They could be
Everybody, everything's coming back around. Why didn't you go to Africa?
I didn't go either, Sarah. You clearly don't
Okay.
remember this, but Jordan's the only one who went.
Oh, you didn't go either?
Nope.
No memory of that.
Were you just like cool high schoolers at that point? You didn't want to go?
I was at like age 15. I just took on a new persona and I was clubbing and all my, I had a boyfriend who was 21. I mean, I know
At 15, Sarah rebranded as an adult.
Yeah.
I created a PowerPoint presentation at 14 on why I should be allowed to move into an apartment down the street.
Wow.
Did that pass the smell test with anyone or no?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse: a parent who lets a 12-year-old decide to stay at Catalina Island, or a parent who lets a 15-year-old stay with her 21-year-old boyfriend.
Yeah, it's all pretty bad. I mean, to be clear, I was like lying about it. It's not like my parents.
Yeah.
were,
Okay. That's
"Ooh,
that's a
you
good
know,
excuse,
come sit at the Thanksgiving table with us. And
Right. Yeah, even at 15, that's not a very good. Trust me, I'm in good hands. My boyfriend is a full 6 years older.
I'm with an adult.
I'm with an adult
Yeah.
who is currently breaking the law, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
See,
God. Well, what was your guys' dynamic growing up like?
Erin, this is their podcast. Let them answer.
Well, I just
ask the
feel like
question.
this is like a selfish conversation. It's like we're just talking about our fucking.
we were always thick as thieves. Like we were always like that's just the simplest way to put it.
And it's
like I
just
feel
the
like
two of you.
yeah, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
And so it was always. I remember one year Josh didn't come on a trip because he was playing baseball, like high school baseball, and so I brought my best friend, and it was a really fun trip. But the whole time it felt wrong, like that Josh wasn't there. It was like,
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cute. So you guys really like had like a solid friendship growing up.
Yeah. Very much so.
Wow.
Still?
You talk every day. You talk every day.
No.
And by
I
the
don't
way,
I don't
Yeah.
like talking on the phone at all. So we talk more now that we have this podcast just because
I'm doing the podcast to trick Josh into talking to me.
Wait, so Seth, are you the person who's like seeking out like being close with Josh, like maintaining the relationship?
I think we're both pretty on the same page, which is our closeness is not dependent on talking very often.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do talk, my wife will say like, did you talk about the wedding or did you talk about this? I'm like, huh? No, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Like
So-
you don't want to share it with her? You
No,
don't
it's
remember?
more, I'm like, I don't really know what we talked about. It wasn't very long and I think nothing.
That's
Yeah.
the sign of closeness. That I think it makes me think about when I got married, the first night of the wedding, like the arrival night or whatever. I was like super overwhelmed. There's like 300 people in a lobby of a hotel, and I'm just everyone wants to like talk to me, and it's like my personal hell. And my husband's thriving, just like socializing with everyone. And he walked up to me, and I'm sitting at the bar with Jordan, and he's like, you guys just getting to know each other? What are you doing over here? Because you have 300 people who came into town to see you. You're just sitting with Jordan, who you talk to 5 times a day. What are you guys talking about? And I was like, oh, I don't know. We're just catching up. I don't know. I just like, this is my safe person.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think that's good.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm like worried about sort of like the Saturday day and the Sunday day. We're getting married on a Sunday, and I'm worried about like activities for people to do, and I want to coordinate like down to the minute what people are doing, but I need to sort of let some of that go and be like, everyone can do, here's some options of things to do.
The Sunday, you got to give people good food, and you need to give them a big hearty brunch of like hangover foods and
well, the wedding's Sunday,
stuff.
so that's going to be Monday. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you're talking about the day of the wedding, the morning
day of the wedding, and the day before, just like people are going to get up there, and it's
where is it?
It's in the Catskills.
Ooh, I've never been up there.
Yeah. So
it's going to be really pretty though.
We'll see. That's the idea. Yeah.
You should definitely provide electrolytes. I remember that from your wedding. I was so grateful for those electrolytes.
Can I say something, Josh? I know it's not my decision.
Yeah.
I think you should invite Erin. I think I think she did a great job.
She did do a great job. She did do a great job. I didn't say that.
Really good.
Can I be her plus one? What the heck? I love a wedding too.
Sorry, no plus ones.
You know what,
We're not
Sarah?
doing plus
What
ones.
I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to make up for this whole fish thing back in Canada, and I feel like it's this time Erin catches it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. And I even acted like I wanted it, and I'm still going to catch the fish.
Sometimes you get a thing you want.
All right, I'll let her have it.
You guys are such a fun hang. Thank you so
delight.
much for doing this. Josh is now going to ask you some questions that we ask all our guests.
Okay.
You can only pick one of these. Is your ideal vacation relaxing, adventurous, or educational?
Relaxing.
Who says educational?
A lot of
A
people.
couple people.
Okay, those people
at
are
least
huge
two
losers.
people have lied and said education.
Yeah, those people are losers. Go on.
What is your favorite means of transportation? Train, plane, automobile, boat, bike, walking, etc.?
Train sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I like to be on land. Walking, train.
All right. This one gets a little trickier. If you could take a vacation with any family, alive or dead, real or fictional, other than your own family, who would you like to take a family vacation with?
It's a great question. Great question. One I wish I had prepared for.
Me too.
This is I not obviously this is on YouTube, but for people only listening, the Foster girls have been in sync is how their mouths both opened when they heard that question.
I'd like to vacation with like Beyonce and Jay-Z. That could be fun.
Good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that would just be a freaking time. We would travel in style, probably private. I'm sure it'd be a beautiful place. They'd sing at the dinner. I'm going with Beyonce and Jay-Z.
I'm just going to say, I want to just see that. I want to see how they interact with each other. Like that to me would be like sort of endlessly fascinating.
Endlessly. I'm like, what are we serving? What are we eating? Who's coming over? Like,
also, anytime you see like footage of them, I feel like some documentary filmmaker, like there's always someone there shooting. There's probably not always someone there, but anytime you see shots of them when they're like on vacation or hanging out, it's like that looks great.
No, I'm with them. I'm with Bay and Jay. That's where we're going. Hopefully somewhere for like 2 weeks.
Okay, I've made my decision.
Yes.
Great.
Alec Baldwin and Hilaria.
Great.
No
Hilaria.
explanation
I think
needed.
it's Hilaria. Are you gonna like get it? You're just gonna purposely get it wrong the whole trip?
Yes, I am, and I will obviously only speak Espanol to her the entire time because that's what she's going to need.
I think they
And
have. I
there's
think they have
7
six. They have 7
children.
kids under 4.
Yeah,
Erin, you want a vacation with
yes,
seven
100% I do because there's nothing's going to be more interesting than that. She's going to be wearing heels the whole time, and there's going to be so many children with Hispanic names, and I am just going to thrive watching their dynamic. I would kill
what?
to be there.
But guess what? You are a yogi and she is a yogi. So she can also help you because she's really good at yoga. She's very flexible.
Here's my impression of Alec Baldwin on vacation. I could only find 5 of them.
So he's lost 2 children at this point.
He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I found 5. You can find you. Why can't you find 2?
By the way, you guys are both. Well, you probably know him. I mean, you probably know him.
I actually see him.
He feels like the
Not
kind of
that-
person that people like New Yorkers like run into all the time.
I walk my kids to school. We run into him all the time. And the first time we ran into him, I was doing multiplication tables with my oldest. We were like walking and doing them. And I go, no, that one's wrong. And then I just heard, don't trust him. And my kids looked up and it was him. He goes, and he just goes, He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I was
Oh my
like, hey,
God.
and then I was like, hey, how are you? And we were talking. And then my kids were like, what? Like, what was that?
He feels like he'd be a
Wait,
very funny
didn't-
person to run into on the street.
It's the best.
Didn't we write him a letter once? We really wanted him to star in this pilot that I produced and Erin wrote a couple years ago. Did we write him a really nice letter? He never responded.
I will say, don't underestimate the power of writing letters, though. That's a very good. It doesn't always pay off, but no one forgets it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great when you get a response.
I also wouldn't think for 100% sure that letter got into his hands.
His agent said it did. His agent said it did.
Agents don't lie, Josh.
Sure.
Facts.
All right, I got a couple more questions here.
Oh.
If you had to be stranded on a desert island with one member of your family, who would it be?
We can't choose like our spouse.
Sure.
You could.
I'd choose my spouse.
Okay.
Wait, can I bring my daughter? She's only 3 months. She like can't survive without me.
Well, you only get one
no.
of them.
She has to stay with Sarah's old boyfriend.
All right, fine. Still, I'll stick with my husband.
Oh, God. Who am I picking? Guys, this is tough.
Sarah, pick me.
You have 2 kids. Well, you just picked your spouse. Why should she pick you?
Well,
I
in
know.
some weird way, I would maybe pick Erin, and I'll tell you why. Because she knows me so well that she would just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like,
think that's great.
there are certain people where you feel like you have to be entertained, but like she knows me so well, I wouldn't even have to see her the whole time. So it would be like a solo vacation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, there's value in that.
There's value in that. There's value in that.
All right, you're both LA girls. Would you recommend Los Angeles as a vacation destination?
No.
No, definitely not.
All right, great.
Okay.
No.
Quickly
Yeah.
dispatched.
It's dirty. It's hot, and
And this is where you
crime
live.
is up.
This is
Yeah.
where you choose to live.
Cafe Med's closed.
Yeah, it's like what's there to
not
live
going
for?
on.
Yeah. There's no laws. It's kind of
Lawless.
it's a lawless land.
It's a lawless, dirty place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't come here.
And Seth has our final question.
Erin, Sarah, have you been to the Grand Canyon?
Okay,
Yes.
I'm not trying to tell a story because I know we're done right now. It's just this is like a 1 minute thing. But me and my boyfriend
Color
did a
me
road
bad.
trip.
We're doing a concert.
There's no musicians in this story, but when I was 19, me and my boyfriend did a road trip across the country. It was super boring. We went to like all the wrong places. And we drove to the Grand Canyon. And while we were driving, like it's like an off the path road, right? And like while we were driving, we started running out of gas and the sun was going down and we missed it. We couldn't find it. We could not find the Grand Canyon, guys. We did not ever see it. Okay. We couldn't find it. And we had to turn around because we were running out of gas. So the answer is no.
Then it can't
story.
be that big.
I agree. I kept going like, how can we not find it?
I gotta say, like, I went, but here's the thing. When I was a young person, I didn't appreciate the beauty of these things. I just didn't. I was kind of like boring. I'm not into sightseeing. I didn't appreciate the beauty. And so, yes, I did go and I didn't care.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I didn't care. I
think
was like,
that's good.
cool. That's a cool crater. I don't know. I just didn't care.
all right.
I know.
That's, I mean,
So
really
I should
just
go back.
The
I should go
worst. This couldn't have gone worse for the Grand Canyon. One of you went.
And Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
yeah.
that's true. Grand Canyon is well, I feel like given the choice, people would still come visit us. Just the best. Congrats on the new show. Comes out in September.
you. Yeah, September 26th. Please have the stars on your show.
Kristen Bell, Adam Brody, both
Or
lovely
like
people.
me. I mean, whatever.
And please buy favorite daughter also.
Yes. There you
Yeah,
go.
Josh,
Favorite daughter.
let's send your fiance some favorite daughter.
Great. She'd love it.
I just call it Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't call it favorite daughter. I just call it Jordan.
As you should. And I really respect that you came here as Jordan's representative.
Yeah.
As her protector, I obviously appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, guys. This was a blast.
Thanks, guys. It was so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Family trips with the Myers brothers. Family trips with the Myers brothers. Here we go.
Thanks again to Nissan for sponsoring this episode. Learn more at nissanusa.com.